who led was Ibzan was in Bethlehem, judged for 7 years. Elon was Zebulun, he judged 10 years. Abdon, Parathon, he judged for 8 years. And he was known for his immense wealth. He had 40 sons and 30 grandsons who all rode on donkeys with 70 donkeys total. That's pretty much from chapter 12. Now in chapter 13, we get to the birth of Samson, who later would become a judge of 7. The children of Israel did evil in the sight of the Lord, and the Lord delivered into the hand of the Philistines for years. Now there was a certain man of the family whose name was Manoah, a man. And his wife was barren and had no children. And the angel of the Lord appeared to the woman and said to her, "Indeed now you are barren and have borne no children, but you shall conceive and bear a son. Now therefore please be careful not to drink wine or drink, and not to eat anything unclean. For you shall conceive and bear a son. No razor shall come upon you, for the child shall be a Nazarite to God from, and shall begin to deliver Israel the hand of the Philistine." Okay. Philistine oppression. The Israelites fell into again and by the Philistines for 40 years. Like that, like the angel came, Noah's wife, and announced that she would have a son. Nazareth vow. The angel instructs the woman not to drink wine, anything unclean. The son is to be from birth, meaning his hair must be never cut, and he is destined to be saving Israel from the Philistines. And why do you suppose that thing was announced to the mother?
Had it not been, already known how to raise him, she would not have known not to drink any made from grapes. And she should not have been unclean specifically for this child.
Correct. His wife, both they prayed, they said the angel will return, teach them how to raise a boy. The angel appears and reiterates the instruction in the sins and the flame of his sacrifice. The couple realize they have seen God fear for their lives. Samson's early life. Samson born and was named Samson. As he grows, the spirit begins to stir within him. Now, as Samson came a little. He became a little irate at some time. As we are without our problems at times. Flaws in God's providence. Okay, let me go back to the take it from here. Samson goes to the town of Timnah and insists on marrying a Philistine. What his parents said. Though a bad decision culturally, the text notes this part of God's sovereign plan to find an occasion to strike back. at the Philistines. Even in the midst of our doing wrong, God sometimes can find a way to use what we're doing for good, for good. And the honey. On his way to Samson is attacked by a roaring lion. Empowered by the spirit of the Lord, he tears the lion apart with his fangs. Later he discovered a sweet and honey inside the lion's carcass, which he shared with his prince, which was still it was a violation of his natural vow, because he's only supposed to eat that which was clean. The wedding. Okay, at his wedding feast, Samson posed a riddle to 30 Philistine companions, which said, out of the eater came something to eat. Out of the strong came something sweet and sweet. If they solved it, he would give them 30 of clothes. If not, they owe him the same. Anybody know what that river is?
Yeah. The lion, and the lion was on. He had been put anything out of the lion. And then, the lion was an eater, the honey from the lion, honey that was in the lion.
Right. So he would refer to the lion and the honey that was inside the carcass of the lion. Okay. Baffled, the Philistine men threatened to burn Samson's bride and her family to death, and she did not find out the answer. Tried to Samson for 7 days until he finally tells her. The men tell Samson the answer. He grew mad, so he retaliated against the men. Knowing he had been cheated, the Spirit of the Lord rushes. He travels to the Philistine city of Ashdod, kills 30 men, take their God, pay off the riddle wage, home in a fit of rage. His wife is then given to his best man. Now, because he told her, he knew that she had been the one that told me the answer to that. Chapter 1, way too bad. Samson's flaws and God's problem. This would be Judges 14. Now Samson went down to a woman intended of the Philistine. So he went up and told his mother, saying, I have seen a woman, first seen her, and Lord, get her for me as a wife. But his father and mother said to me, is there no one among the daughters of your brethren or among all people? All my people must go and get a wife from the unside Philistine. And Samson said to his father, get her for me, for she pleases me well. Of his mother and father feel about that. He still wanted that particular one. So why do y'all feel that he had to have that particular one? Huh? Get us in trouble every time. So Samson's flaws and God's promise. But he made she weakness. This chapter marks the beginning of Samson's downfall. Like his physical strength, he is shown to be emotionally weak. sermons frequently warn against fleshly desires, looking at things merely as right in your own eyes, which gets us every time. Because we look at something, despite you can see a warning on it. Because fleshly desire, we still. Mixed marriages. Samson demands to marry Philistine woman from temple. God's law for his people. Preachers often draw lessons on the dangers of unequally yoked relationships, compromise. Why do you feel that? Did they preach so heavy being unequally yoked?
From my standpoint, what I see, I can't be a servant of God, and my husband is doing other stuff. We're not even this.
Right.
But in the same, the Bible says it's a sanctified one, sanctifies the other. So, in that instance, it is correct. It's hard to marry to somebody that you're not evenly yoked. You like football, but I like basketball. And I might like shopping, and you might stand at home. Or I'm eating, and you on that out, trying to preserve yourself. But unevenly yoked when two people are not the same, they don't have the same ideas as in marriages, family, and things of that. That's the way I see it. You know, a household with kids and great kids, and I won't be. That's something you really expect a marriage to work. He said, how can we walk together if we're not agreeing? So if we're not agreeing, it's unequal.
I think it more so refers to the relationship on both of us. Because if you're strong in God, but if you're baby time, then at the time y'all are unequally yoked. But if you pray God to help him, not you help him, ask God. I think that's what we feel because we try to do it and we can't do it. I'll leave him before God, then allow God to work with him. I'll work through us. Okay, God working through human message. Despite Samson's poor sinful choices and impulsive behavior, God orchestrates the events to spark conflict with the Philistines and bring about a measure of deliverance. So, those same mess of things, God went on and allowed him to marry this woman so that the Philistines would be there. He would have an opportunity to put him in the hand of the Israelites. That way the Israelites are able to be free. A few takeaways from this: God's grace versus human heart. God acts out sovereign grace, even when people are apathetic and do not cry for deliverance. So despite all that we do, God still show grace. Hallelujah. Never get too low evil. Come and live with us. Another key takeaway is the problem of perspective. Chapters 12 and 14 show Israel sounds inspiring because they without pursue judgment rather than God's laws. No, they rely on what their own eye, not what is God's law. Third is danger of compromise. Samson disregard for his consecration, ultimate chaos, and personal transfer. Because of his fleshly desires, he decided to get this woman, though he knew that it wasn't law for him to marry her. I guess it wasn't good for him. That's what to marry for this time. You like that interest. Comments?
We still have a lot of unfulfilled marriages where we go ahead and we do things and God already said, and press the issue. And God will allow you anything you want with that reason. Even after he said no, and then you have to turn around and beg, put what you have.
Yes.
Because it wasn't what you thought. And that's the problem with the children of Israel. They wanted what they wanted. But every time God had to deliver them from their desires. And as far as the Philistines were not even remember when it came to the Israelites. You know, these were children of God, not the Philistines. You know, that's why I said it's not to people that are evil. You know, we gotta believe in a sinner riding in the same car. Some gonna heal on that trip. Like you'll find yourself listening to the same thing they listen to. And you'll find yourself the same thing they tell you to. And just like it's on the flip side, if a Christian is driving a car and singing and glorifying God, sooner or later, possibly the sin will change. But it wasn't like that for the children of Israel. They wanted to be over.
Yeah.
They wanted to rule. God says no.
Both ways got they both desire to rule everything still.
Philistines, they wanted their will to live the way they wanted to live. The children of Israel, the Nazarene, he wasn't supposed to be doing those things.
No.
Because he was destined by God from his mother's womb. And he wanted his bride ordained. But even in his ordained, I still got to do it.
Yeah. And though he did things wrong, yet God still showed him favor.
He showed him favor, but he lost his life. He lost his life. That's not good for God said.
So 12 through 14 explain to us the different judge ruling at the take time. Their unfaithful to God, their disobedient to God's law. They all suffer now. So I would say to each and every one, that we follow what it is that God asks us to do.
Being disobedient and, it's a very difficult for even though we are called to do God's work, He'll only let you go so far with His will. But you can't carry on. Let's see, how should I say it? You complete your destiny if you continue to sin and come on, because it doesn't work. That's what Samson was doing. You know, Samson was like, hey, beautiful woman is still be a judge and do what I thought. You cannot. You can't be laying your head no woman lap. And trying to do God. You're a man of God and lay your head down on a woman's lap and God had already told you not to do it. And she knew the strength lied within his head. It's like Satan knows, for us, our strength comes from the word of God. And he says Satan comes to kill, steal, and destroy. He does like weeds until it's all gone. Till there's a you keep playing with it, and he will, the Lord will allow him to get you. He accepts and regret it.
I feel like God's grace do carry us along, because
Mercy.
if He don't have His hand upon us, then it would be very, very easy for Satan to get to us. Make no mistake about it, he's trying. The minute he think that you're weak, he's gonna show you. I got a little red with that picture for you.
Some people's job is long enough to see how far you won't be able to sing. People say all the time, don't blame everything I'm saying. Satan can only go so far. He can only put God allows him to do. You know, Job, he went through it. You can't get him, but you can show toward it. And he did. But even Job had to buy that. Lord, I'm going to walk with you. I'm still going to no matter what. Some of us just say, no, man, it ain't worth out. And I'm going to do time because it's too hard. But it's not hard.
And some people just they themselves just to test you.
Yeah.
Right, guys, it worked. I mean, every time I try to say something to me, it's get crazy and act crazy toward you. I look at them sometimes just go on at the end of the day, he came back and say, what I did to you, you wouldn't get mad. I said, I'm taking the time to add you on something that you. So, yeah.
Telling you a man of God, they're going to push you to the edge just to see how far they can go.
Yeah.
If you're a woman of God, they're going to push you to the edge just to see how you can go. And it's just, I knew you would.
They feel like that because I'm calling you. That everything is straight. We got it all together. I'm together working on it.
Disobedience is a sign of disrespect, unlawful. We have a lot of that. You're asked to do something, you figure out a way not to do it.
Right.
Or, what is that?
Pride.
Yeah, pride. Pride is, that's a great,
Yeah.
some of us are safe aside. Some of us are too proud to do.
I think that's the main one that a lot of us are facing. I
questions, anything you want to say on tonight's lesson?
You mentioned, this is kind of very different, a little bit different, because you mentioned Job, and one of the things that Job said, he said, Lord, I know all things. And he says, no thought or plan of your strength or authority. So whatever Samson did, and the purpose of God so fast. The Israelites get consumed by the Philistines, and that's because God had a purpose for them. He had a son that's going to be born out of lineage, and his purpose stood fast.
He said, he lived against the good. If he started something to every last one of us to do, his mandate up, you gonna do it. You might go through some struggle to do it. God's will be done here on earth.
Samson had to lose his eyes. He did not have to go by the hands, they said. He didn't have to do that. That was God's purpose. But God's purpose stood fast in spite of him.
That's right.
I'm trying to get ahead of it.
I think in our lifetime, Ms. Ray, we are complete. We shouldn't be. Not to say that we should not be proud of where we came from. You should be able to rejoice, but remember it's with God. Because God is the reason that we know that we pulled out and predestined for different areas in this world. But we get so proud to say who we are, how God has called us, and how He's utilizing. You have to forget you're really a man, and God is using you
Right.
to do these things. It's not yourself, but it's God. When we realize who God called us to be and how we should walk, He said, humble yourself before the Lord God Almighty. And some of us are too proud to humble ourselves before the Lord. But He got a way of humbling you. And you don't want God to humble you no kind of way. Because His humbling can almost take you out of you. So it has to be humble, even with one another. We have to be humble. Okay? I see the God that you operate. I see the God that's operating in all of my sisters and brothers. But I'm walking around here with myself like that. What? Yes. No, I'm not doing that. That's what I was called to do. We are called to do a deed for God, not for ourselves. He said, I make your name great. He said, you can great. That's what the Bible says. Jesus said, I came to serve, not to be served. And so that we are servants to one another. We're not here to be served. Ain't no queens down here, man-made people kings. But there are no kings and queens here. We are here to be servants to one another.
We shall ourselves to be because of what we didn't God.
Absolutely. That's what I was saying. That's why you got to be God.
And think about how, he cheated himself out of, he was anointed, appointed by God.
Yeah.
But because he chose to live in disobedience and so much rebellion, God could, he wasn't going to use him to a certain extent with the innocent that he was hurt. But if he had, kept to the word, the teachings,
Right.
think about how much more greater and the have experienced with God. That walk, it could have been limitless. I mean, we could have such a greater story of Samson, but yet it was just of him because of that. It's even for us today. God is pleasant for us.
be able to get to that point where you would sacrifice, you first have to have that obedience.
Yeah, it'll come with it, it'll naturally.
When you look into this time,
Yeah, that's what he said. He said, I love the ones that I'm chasing. So, you know, if you work with your kids, I hate this. I used to hate it. I love you. This is gonna hurt me as much as I'm the one you beating up. You know what I'm saying? And we have to look at that. Everything you took it back. I need you to see who I am.
Because he wants just chastise us. He didn't want anybody else. That's why he said, "Do not judge."
How good it is when we choose His way. When we get to actually experience God Himself. Oh, it will actually cause it. Because you'll be like, you know, how dare I, you know, all the moments that I missed because, and what you have, you know, what you want to do through me and the things you reveal to me and the purpose of it, all these things. And it almost makes you repentant of what you wasted. You know, you get to realize when God looks at you, what He sees, you begin to realize the identity He created, what He desires to carry out through you. It will just out this like godly sorrow and transformation. And I think the more we do it, step over that line, and we taste it, that it becomes easier. We build that testimony because we get to experience God for ourselves and not through somebody else what God feels like. You know, and I think the more we do, the greater it grows. It's like faith, you know? It just gets bigger. Oh, I just he is something else greater than any drug. He can cause you to be so like there's been times where you just met and I can't even sleep with the rest of it because of it's like I drank coffee but anything, you know what I mean? But I can't even sleep. I'm just so in prayer and it just continues with you and continues with you and it's just like it's amazing. There's so much for me.
I'm still having those nights. 2:33. I got to be at work at 6, 5. Get up and go. Don't be tired at all.
I personally look at it as a spiritual and a physical aspect. Because it's the spirit of God. Or when you sacrifice that's but then the two have desires. you're saying, you question yourself for the devil because you want to hear in spirit.
Right.
You cried out, and you asked him to move. Don't go back to try to get back.
Right. Right.
Trying to test to see. I mean, it always because once he moving, almost killed you trying to pick it back up.
Except leave the track statement on, do enough of that.
Amen.
It's like, I can't stand the smell of it, but I spent 16 years. I'm not trying to get it right, I still keep choking. I tried once to pick it back up, and I thought choking that trying to take a drag off the scene. I asked him, he moved it. Alcohol, I can smell it. You said, oh no, I'm not drinking alcohol. No, I smell it. Yeah, I smell it. I can smell it on you. And if you try to talk to me, oh, okay. you just blew the face. I smell it because I asked you.
Yeah.
And don't think that just because you ask you to do a few things that you can deliver. Want you to clean. You got to give up on stuff. That because he said your body is like a living sacrifice, holy and acceptable to God. In no impurities in it, none of it. That's what some people don't believe that. That's fine.
It's our baseline of what's supposed to be doing, is to give ourselves a living sacrifice. The word says,
And along with that, we must, when we do ask God to deliver us from something, and we got to have patience. Because sometimes that's won't remove. God got it there for a reason. Because he knows that he removed it at time. You're not gonna do it. So until he can get you to that place that you need, he will lead it.
It's a reminder.
Yes.
that's when you cry out loud,
Yes.
grace is sufficient. Give me your powerful grace.
It is amazing how God is sufficient. Okay, so now we're going to get ready to close out. Let us all come before the altar. Pray. Anybody have?
Yes, praise God.